Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Alma, and I am a mum of two living in Orkney. I wanted to pop on today. Please bear with me. I have the cold from hell. I am in so much pain, but I promised myself that I would stay committed and consistent and keep going with this YouTube stuff. So here we are filming this video. I can barely talk, so bear, but here we are. I wanted to come on today and speak about something that has quite literally changed the trajectory of my life, and especially my life as a mum. And that is choosing to be a stay-at-home mum. This was never the plan for me. This was not the plan for me. I always wanted to be a PA or a VA. No, a PA. I always wanted to be a PA. I wanted to work up in the skyscrapers of London as a personal assistant, fetching coffees, doing calendars, doing all of the type A stuff. But life didn't go to that plan. I moved to Orkney, and before I fell pregnant, I actually fell in love with farming. So my plan B was to travel around and be a sheep farmer, or a lammer as they would call it, which is basically means that you help sheep give birth, or you watch over sheep while they're giving birth to their lambs. That was plan B. And here we are. A few years down the line, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I could not be happier. But with that change has came a lot of mental change, and the way that I think has changed. My beliefs have changed, my values have changed. I feel like everything about me has changed with making this decision, but I know that it was the right decision to make for me and my family. Even when I was pregnant with Loki, I never thought that I would be a stay-at-home mom. I remember this so clearly. It was my last day of work when I was pregnant with Loki. I was going on maternity leave, and my boss, I was having a chat with him, and I remember saying to him, Loki was born on the 30th of January. And I remember saying to him, you can pencil me in for shifts in February. Imagine that. And I truly, in my heart of hearts, believed that was going to be it. Like, I would give birth to my beautiful baby, and 4 weeks later I would be back at work. And I thought that's just what everyone did, right? That's just normal. But when I had him, when I held him in my arms, everything changed. Just looking down at him, I'm realizing, that his whole entire existence depends on me in that moment was incredible. And I never wanted to let him go. I realized that I didn't want to rush through the years. I didn't want to miss the milestones. I didn't want to sacrifice the time that I would be able to spend with my children working for somebody else and providing for somebody else's family. That didn't sit right with me, because I now had this precious baby, and then when I had Melanie, like it just 100 times that, because I had Melanie at home, and I remember just the moment that I lifted her up from the birthing pool, and I feel like I just had this epiphany of, like, this is what my calling is in life, is to be a mom, to take care of these people, to raise them to be incredible people that could be anyone and anything that they wanted to. And I can't describe the feeling. I feel like when you give birth to a baby, you give birth to yourself too. You are completely reborn as a whole new person every single time. And it's such a it's such a weird thing to try to explain to anybody, but if you know, you know. With this realization came massive overwhelmed, especially when I was just had Loki. I was so overwhelmed because I still had this massive desire to go back to work. Because I really enjoyed my job. I actually still, Melanie is now over 1. So it's been a while since I actually quit my job. I say that lightheartedly because I'm still going into work maybe like once or twice a week just to help out. And like I'm not employed in the sense of like they tell me when to work, but if there is somebody needs help covering a shift or anything like that, I will actually go into work because I enjoy being there and I enjoy doing it. But I am not putting myself in a position where I am being told when I have to work and not having a choice in that. Well, as I say, and the more overwhelmed I became, the clearer I realized that I really needed to see change, that I needed something to shift, that I needed to be able to safely and comfortably move from having a 9 to 5 to being able to afford to stay at home. And we could have done anyway because, and honestly, I didn't have a clue how to do that. I started frantically looking for things online, and there was a lot out there. And there are a lot of scams out there as well, which is quite a controversial thing to say because a lot of the things that people call scams aren't scams. The online world is actually not as easy to get into as people think. People think that being a content creator, being an influencer, being in sales, things like that, it looks so easy from the sidelines, but there is so much work that goes on behind the scenes. And a lot of the time people will come into it and they'll try for a month or two, they'll realize that, it's hard, that they can't do it. They'll quit and then they'll call the thing a scam because they didn't succeed in it. But the reality is it's not a scam. They just gave up on themselves. So when researching these things, I was really cautious not to actually read the reviews, but to really kind of look into things myself. Because you can't believe reviews, because half the time the reviews of things like this are just people that didn't have it in them to succeed, complaining that they didn't succeed and blaming everybody but themselves for that. But I digress. So I actually spent quite a long time looking for things, and eventually I found the business that I'm in now. But I didn't actually start that right away either, because as I say, I really wanted to research it and make sure that, it was the right thing for myself. So I joined the front end of the business. I joined the training platform of it, and I started researching, but at that point I wasn't actually running a business. I wasn't bringing any income in. So I had to go back to work, and we decided very quickly that we wanted to expand our Airbnb business. So we had one property that we were running as an Airbnb. And we decided to expand that to 2. So we started running 2. At this point, I felt like I was drowning a little bit because I was so committed to moving myself online so that I could be present with my children. But I also had to go back to work. So I was working part-time. I was running our Airbnb business. I was trying to learn all about this online business. I was trying to look after a baby and the house, and it was a lot. And I very quickly realized that it was just way too much. I felt so stressed and so rushed and so disconnected from myself and honestly my baby. I realized that I had to find change. And I think my actual breaking point was when I found out that I was pregnant with Melanie. And I just realized that I couldn't do that with another baby. I couldn't do that all over again. And I made myself a promise there that I would go all in into the online business that I run, and I would make it work no matter what. And if I couldn't make it work in 6 months after she was born, then I would quit and I would have to go back to my job full time, because it was just that. It was that, or, having to go full time or go full time online. There was no middle ground for me. So while I was pregnant with Melanie, we actually expanded our Airbnb business again. So we have 3 properties on Airbnb, which I run single-handedly. I do the back end and the front end. I was working part-time. I was still running my house. I was still looking after my baby while I was pregnant, and he was also working full-time as well at this point. So he was working in the day, I would be home with the baby all day, and then he would come home at 4 o'clock, and I would leave for work at 4 o'clock. So Hugh and I never seen each other. I was just so tired all of the time. And being pregnant and doing this, I was so exhausted and so mentally drained. I had to take a massive step back and, evaluate everything and be like, something has to give, because I can't live like this anymore. And when our little girl was going to be born, I didn't know how I was going to be able to keep up with everything with now 2 little ones, because at that point I was taking Loki with me when I would go and clean the Airbnbs, and it was just becoming completely unrealistic to carry on like that. So when we set up the 3rd Airbnb, we actually made the choice that Hugh would retire from his 9 to 5. And rather than getting a bigger income, family income, we would actually give up his 9 to 5 income and supplement it with a 3rd Airbnb, which is what we ended up doing a little bit further down the line than expected, because we set up the 3rd Airbnb in the winter season. So this was actually our first summer season that we've just had now. So then when Melanie was actually born, I sat down, and at this point I was really, really, really realized the fact that, either I had to make the online business work, or I had to give up on myself and walk away from it, because I didn't have enough hours in a day. There are so many people that come in curious, wanting to start the online business, and they try to tell me that they don't have the time to do it. I genuinely did not have the time. I was working a job, I was running the Airbnbs, I was clearing the changeovers in the Airbnbs, I was looking after the house, I was doing everything, and I had no time at all. But I still fitted in wherever I could running the business, and I had to sit down, and I was like, I need to make it work. So instead of actually going on maternity leave with Melanie, I quit my job. I didn't go on another maternity leave. I quit my job, and I gave myself 6 months to make my online business work, or I would have to walk away. 6 months down the line, I had ranked up in my business to a place where I now need to make a single sale a month to replace my entire monthly income with my online business. So I am able to be fully online. And then Hugh has also quit his job, so he's home with me full time as well. So we are both home full time, and it is incredible. It is so incredible. And if you were to ask me 2 years ago, if I thought that I would be in a position that I'm in right now, not in a million years would I believe this, because We're all told that, we live in a 2-income household kind of world now, which is completely not true. If you are willing to sacrifice on things, if you are willing to cut back, it is not true at all. We're now very privileged in the sense that I worked my ass off to get us to a position where we have this online income, which anybody is capable of doing if they just put their heart and soul into it and do it for the right reasons. And we obviously have the Airbnb side as well, which currently we're in the off season. The off season doesn't bring in a lot at all. But we've had to learn to adapt and sacrifice and mold our lives to fit this kind of lifestyle so that we can both be home. And I really wanted to share my journey. There is so much pressure on mums to do it all, to work like they have no children, to mother like they don't have a job. And that is just not sustainable. When I let go of that pressure and gave myself the chance to just soften and lead my life the way that my heart felt pulled to do it, everything around me softened, and I was able to find that rhythm. I was able to find a way, and so can you. If you've clicked on this video, the chances are you are wanting to be a stay-at-home mom as well, or a stay-at-home dad. And I really, really want you to understand that it is completely possible if you truly want that. You don't have to live lavishly to enjoy your family, to enjoy your children. If you decide that you want to be a stay-at-home parent, that's okay. Pick up something on the sidelines. Do a little business. Go and do an online business. Do something with your hands. Like, make things, sell things. Do things to bring in that extra income to tie yourself over to be able to do that lavish thing. I will always say, the first thing that you have to do when you decide that you want to be a stay-at-home parent is budget everything. Put everything that you have spent on a spreadsheet for the last month. Put it all out in front of you. See what you can cut back. It is so incredibly easy to actually be a stay-at-home parent and enjoy your children. And if you're a mom that's, trying to figure out what the right choice is, I really hope that this video gives you some clarity on what it's done for my life to actually become a stay-at-home parent. Because I have never been happier, healthier. I've never loved myself more. I have never had so much faith in life. It has completely shifted the way that I think, the way that I love, the way that I value things, the way that I believe. You are allowed to choose a life that feels good to you, that feels aligned, that allows you to slow down, that allows you to be present. And you are allowed to build something that aligns with your values and your family. Thank you for sitting with me today. And if you feel like you want to explore a little bit about the online business that I run from home, then there is a link to my Typeform in my bio. If you fill out that Typeform, I will send you a message and I will pop over the video that really changed everything for me. It was the video that I watched that introduced me to this business and has now introduced a whole team of beautiful women that work alongside me too. Either see you over there or I'll see you next week.